Once again, we're talking about the Japanese horror and how it's just not scary in the slightest, and this time the caliber of horror is very, very high. Uzumaki from Junji Ito, the Lovecraft of Japan. Well, minus the racism part. Probably. So in case if you're new here, hello! I am Antigonius. I am a proud animation supremacist, and I believe that some literature can never be properly adapted into motion picture of any kind. There can be many reasons why that is, from political sensibilities to a weird style of presentation that is not very conducive to motion. In case of works of Junji Ito and Lovecraft, the biggest problem with them is that the horror they invoke is supposed to be abstract. That kinda fucks with immersion a bit. How do I explain this? Okay, so when you read a book, and by that you mean honestly read a book, not just skim it, you will, even if ever so slightly, be immersed into the experience. This can manifest itself in many ways that are unique to the individual. In my case, when I get immersed, the scenes start to animate in my head. I can hear the characters' voices speaking in the scenes, their mouths open as they talk. I can imagine the tone they say their lines in. In this state, I can physically feel myself being present in the story, like a cameraman, and imagine the action, and just seeing it live and vividly is exactly why reading books or comic books or manga is such an enjoyable experience. This is especially true with horror. Horror that can immerse you is truly a wonderful thing, especially when the horror is existential, because the joy of existential horror is that you're a cameraman watching a train wreck in real time and you can never stop it. You will not stop it, and the only way to stop it is to drop the book. And why would you do that? Why would you read that in the first place then, huh? The ability to view in your mind what you can't comprehend or stop is what makes Lovecraftian and Ito horror fun, but animation and film speaks to the viewer in a different language. All adaptations, thus, are imperfect translations, and when translated, existential horror turns into some of the most hilarious things you can ever see. I swear it's been a while since I laughed this hard at anything, but I digress. Uzumaki is a 4-episode adaptation of Uzumaki, whose main premise is simple. There's a town, shit's haunted, enjoy the ride. And honestly, as far as adaptations of Junji Ito works go, this one's actually pretty good, at least in terms of story. Sure, a lot of stuff was cut from the anime, but at the same time they've kept most important and memorable bits from the story, so credit where credit's due. The graphics are kinda shit. People say that the animation quality dropped starting from the 2nd episode, and I legitimately don't really see much difference. I commend them for trying to stick to the black and white style of manga. It does help with immersion a bit, but then you look at the scene where the girl sucks a man into herself and you can't just help but laugh, which again is kinda expected. The music is decent, but at the same time it's also the typical sort of horror soundtrack. That's nothing to write home about. Basically, the anime was an adaptation of a horror story. What did you expect? I am an old otaku. I expected to laugh my ass off and got exactly what I wanted from it. If you expected a respectful adaptation of a famous story, first of all... Second of all, go read the manga instead of substitutes. You'll get more out of it that way.